Well, the Pulwama encounter has now been caught on camera. The video, in fact, essentially shows how our security forces bravely fought terrorists in that deadly battle. This was the encounter in Pulwama in which a top commander of the LET was killed. Well, Fareed is now joining us on the phone line for more details. Fareed, now, in this particular encounter, one of the Lashkar-e-Toiba's A++ militants has been categorized by security forces. Irshad was killed.
Well, yes, this encounter basically happened on the 11th and 12th in the Ratnapura area. These are exclusive ground zero visuals that Times Now has accessed. Basically, encounter caught on tape, and clearly it tells you about the intensity of the gunfire that was exchanged. These are two Lashkar-e-Toiba militants who were trapped for almost 24 hours. They slipped from one of the built-up areas into the paddy fields, and from there they gave a very tough fight to the security forces. They kept them engaging. They were very heavily armed for almost 6 to 7 hours, non-stop, relentless exchange of fire. And finally, these are the visuals of the final assault that the security forces launched. Exclusive visuals that really tell you about the high intensity of the gunfire that was exchanged, and also about the fact that one wrong move in such a situation could be basically the difference between life and death. So clearly visuals that tell you how these encounter situations really arise and how difficult such operations are. Now here it was a joint operation of CRPF 183 Battalion, Police, SOG and Army, of course, 55 Rashtriya Rifles. They continued with the operation and almost for 24 hours were locked in fierce gun battle. The militants, as I said, slipped from the built-up area using darkness as their advantage. They got into the paddy fields where they swiftly kept changing their positions. They're very highly motivated, trained and armed. And finally, it took some area surveillance for the security forces to pinpoint their location. And after more than 24 hours, their resistance ended. And ththese are exclusive visuals of ground zero. Intense gunfire being exchanged, and finally both these Lashkar militants were killed.
As you're pointing out, the visuals that we are playing on our screen right now are of the final assault. Really, it is a 6-minute-long final assault that actually led to the killing of these two terrorists by the armed forces. But it was an encounter, Fareed, that went on for more than 24 hours.
Absolutely. For 24 hours, initially it was the militants who attacked an army patrol of 55 Rashtriya Rifles in Ratnapura, and then immediately counter-assault was launched. The area was cordoned off. CRPF police came in. They cordoned off the area. The militants then were trapped in a built-up area and village in a house. They fired from there, engaged the security forces, and then as the night descended, there was darkness. These militants slipped out to the built-up area, and as you could be seeing in the visuals, they took positions inside a paddy field. The grass was very high, so that basically gave them cover. From there, they engaged the security forces. In this encounter, one policeman of the SOG was also critically injured. They engaged the security forces for several hours. In between, there was lull in firing. But yes, you're absolutely right. The visuals of the final assault and in fact, intense gunfire unleashed on the militants. They also fired back intermittently. But finally, after this assault, their resistance ended, and both these Lashkar militants, who were, of course, locals, were killed. 2 AK-47 rifles, ammunition was also recovered from the spot, and in fact, these are the kind of operations that basically happen in South Kashmir. This gives you a sense of what really happened on that particular moment from on ground zero, where these militants were engaged with the security forces, how basically the security forces took cover and then slowly proceeded with the operation. But yes, final assault was intense, a heavy exchange of fire exchange, and finally the luck of the militants ran out. As
you're pointing out, Fareed, it also gives our viewers a peek into how these encounters pan out. This was one that lasted for about 24 hours. For the moment, Fareed, thank you.